Hello and welcome to the Your Illini Nation pregame show. It's March, folks. March Madness is here, and there is meaningful Illini basketball coming up in March. We've got a loaded 30-minute show here to get you prepared for the Illini and the Hoosiers, the first time these two teams are meeting up this season. I'm Craig Choate. I'm joined by Marlee Wierda and Derek Piper at the State Farm Center. We'll head out there in just a few minutes. We are on WCIX today on TV. We're also on WCIA.com, and we are also on our Facebook page. We're on Facebook Live. If you have any questions, ask them there. If we have time at the end of the show, we'll get to them. You saw them just a minute ago. Let's head out to the State Farm Center now. That's where Marlee and Derek are standing by in the Manny Jackson Hall of Fame room. Guys, like I said, it's March and there's meaningful Illini basketball. Does it get any better than this?
Yeah, Craig, I don't think it does, and I think a lot of Illini fans are realizing now that this is crunch time. This is when things are getting tough, but things are getting excited, and you can't see right now, but me and Derek are looking right now at just this swarm of people coming in. I'm seeing a lot of red, but a lot of orange and blue, and I think we got a sold-out crowd here at the State Farm Center tonight.
Should be fun. What more could you ask for? Both teams playing for a lot this time of year. Indiana needs a couple wins to boost their tournament resume. Illinois feels like they're already in, but they can continue to get towards a double bye in the Big Ten tournament, improve their seeding in the NCAA tournament. And it's a rivalry. Illinois, Indiana, these two teams, or at least their fan bases, don't like each other very much, so it should be a fun one here in Champaign.
Absolutely, and Derek and I were just talking about that. The last time you and I did one of these shows was back in December when Illinois played Michigan, and what a long way this team has come since then. That was when they beat previously ranked number 5 Michigan, and that was a huge statement win for them. But now it's kind of, they're becoming this team where it's not so much a surprise anymore when they're beating the number 5 team in the nation.
Right, that was right after you lost to Miami here, very disappointing one, and then you went to Maryland and choked down the stretch. So that really started Illinois asserting themselves as a contender in the Big Ten. Probably not going to win the league, although Maryland lost last night, so it's still a little bit interesting, but they're one of the top-tier teams and someone that can make some noise in March, and they've really got things rolling on a number of fronts. Iowa's really upped his game. The defense is one of the best in the Big Ten, actually the best in the Big Ten in league play, so it's been exciting.
Yeah, and while we are in March, it's funny enough that this is actually the first time this season Indiana and Illinois are meeting up. Craig.
Yeah, definitely a unique quirk in the schedule for these two teams. And the next game as well, Ohio State, Illinois hasn't seen yet either. If you are going to the game today and you're not already on your way, if you're catching us maybe on your way there, the Illini want you to wear a specific color. Everyone sitting in odd-numbered sections are asked to wear orange. Everyone in even-numbered section are asked to wear blue, and their attempt to stripe the State Farm Center around could be pretty cool if they accomplish this. It is another chance for the Illini to improve their NCAA tournament resume, but like Marlee just said, it's weird in that we are in March now, and this is the first time Illinois and Indiana have seen each other, but that didn't change the way the team prepared for the matchup.
We're going to prepare for them just the way we have, and you know, we've told our guys, hey, it's it's the first time we've seen them, so let's be dialed in, and let's know what tendencies are, and you don't have that game time experience that you had from the first time playing.
That's what film is for. You get to watch this type of stuff that they've been doing, and so we can prepare for their offense or how we can attack them on the defensive side as well.
It's a 1 o'clock start at the State Farm Center. We'll head back out to the State Farm Center now to Marlee and Derek. So, guys, how unique is this that this is the first time these two teams are playing? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Yeah, it's definitely very unique. It could kind of go one or two ways, I think. It could either maybe benefit the Illini, who might be coming into this, with just a fresh mind. They don't have any kind of, maybe resentment or revenge feelings like they have to, get back at a team that beat them earlier in the season, or they just don't have the experience of playing them yet this season. But, Derek, what are your thoughts on this?
It's different for sure. I'm not sure there's an advantage one way or the other, but usually in the Big Ten you're so familiar with teams this time of year. But last week they played Nebraska for the first time. They're going to play Ohio State for the first time later on this week. So it's interesting, but watching film of other teams, Illinois has seen Indiana. They're preparing. They're familiar with each other from last year. They played late in the season. So, again, I don't know if it's going to lean one way or the other as far as an advantage, but I think they're ready to to square off.
Yeah, and I think this could be just an interesting way that the schedule was designed. I think the reason being that come this time of year when they're heading, deeper into March, that's when they're going to be facing, if they're in the tournament, they're going to be facing teams that they haven't seen before and, they might not be so familiar with. So maybe this kind of prepares them for what's to come.
That's a good point. And now that you've gotten into March, yeah, in March Madness, you're seeing teams for the first time, and so really kicking off the month with that mindset of you try to take care of yourself and trying to get ready as best you can, but you got to be able to prepare for teams on a shortened time span as far as knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, what do we have to take away. And Illinois has been able to do that the last couple of days.
Yeah, and it'll definitely be interesting for some of the freshmen that'll be their first time in their careers playing the Hoosiers, but some of the veterans have the experience from the 2019 game that came around the same time around this time last year, Craig.
Yeah, I like that point that Marlee made there, that when you get to the NCAA tournament, you're facing teams for the first time. So Illinois gets 3 games late in the year where they haven't played them, and so they get to prepare. But back to today, the matchup that everyone wants to talk about in Illinois and Indiana is the battle of these 2 freshmen, Kofi Coburn for Illinois and Trace Jackson Davis for Indiana. Jackson Davis leads Indiana in both scoring and rebounding, 13.8 points and 8 rebounds per game. Coburn has been just a monster inside for the Illini pretty much all season. He's averaging 13.6 and 9.1. Coburn has won Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors 7 times. Jackson Davis has won it 5 times. A lot of people are saying whoever wins the battle today between the 2 has the upper hand on the Big Ten Freshman of the Year award. Here's what Coach Brad Underwood and Kofi have to say on the matchup.
Neither one of them are probably freshmen anymore in terms of experience. This late in the year, they've all played, 27, 28, 29 games, whatever the number is, and they're two young guys who've come in and impacted this league in big ways, and there's no question they're not just 2 of the outstanding freshmen in this league, but in the country.
I always like the chance to see a really good player, and it's not really about me and him at the end of the day. It's about coming out there and doing what we do, making sure that we secure the win, and making sure that we improve our record.
Not really sure how much the 2 individually will match up one another. Jackson Davis plays a lot of 4 while Kofi is the 5, but should be a good matchup either way. Let's head out and see what Marlee and Derek think. Derek, Marlee, I know you've seen a lot of both guys. How is the matchup going to be today? And do you think that they're matched up against each other very often, or are they going to be guarding separate positions?
Well, Craig, I think just from the season that Kofi has had, it kind of is the storyline almost every game. Like Kofi against this big man, and he shows up most often of the time. So I think if they are, matched up head to head, that Kofi has a pretty good shot of that.
Says a lot about both these big guys that they've had so much success as freshmen. As you mentioned, there's just so many great bigs throughout this league. But and this is going to decide most likely the Freshman of the Year award. Kofi has really turned it on of late. I know he had a couple of games early in February. Again, he's going against Luka Garza, Jalen Smith, and Xavier Tillman. So that's a tough matchup for anybody. But both players will see quite a bit of time against each other because Trace Jackson Davis starts out at the 4, but then Indiana rotates in some other guards, and he slides down to the 5. So I think you'll see a lot of those of each other. One thing for Kofi is Trace has done a great job of putting fouls on other people, so that could spell danger for Illinois because we all know the struggles behind Kofi with Georgie and Kipper.
Yeah, and as Craig mentioned, these 2 are kind of the 2 favorites to win Big Ten Freshman of the Year. So maybe this game aside, whose would be your pick if it was to be decided today?
I would go with Kofi right now. I think for a couple of reasons. Illinois having the better season, and he's meant so much to this team now ascending towards the top of the league. They're in the NCAA tournament. He's had 12 double-doubles. That's most of any freshman in the Big Ten. Trace has had about 7 or 8, I think, off the top of my head. He has more freshman of the weeks, better rebounder. Trace, again, they're really close statistically as far as points and even rebounds is off 1, but I'll give Kofi the nod for the double-doubles for the fact that Illinois is higher up on the food chain in the Big Ten.
And Kofi certainly coming off a great game against Northwestern, so probably he's coming into this one with a little bit of momentum. So it'll be the first time Kofi, Coburn, and the other freshmen are taking on the Hoosiers. Meanwhile, some of the veterans may look to bounce back after what was a near 20-point loss back in 2019.
Yeah, leading right into our next subject, we're going to go back and talk about that 2019 game back at the State Farm Center. Like we've said a couple times, this is the first time Illinois and Indiana are facing this season. But last year, right about this time, as Marlee said, the two teams squared off at the State Farm Center, and it got ugly for the Illini. Indiana scored 90-plus points, the Illini in the 70s. Romeo Langford playing really well. Georgie Ayo there trying to get pumped up before the game. But it was Indiana scoring nearly 50 in the first half, and they really ran away from the Illini in this one. But Brad Underwood said yesterday while talking to the media that some of the players remember that. Others, they have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, the veterans do. Kofi has no idea what's going on. But, we're so different defensively now that there's not a lot of similarities from our standpoint in that.
Marlee, Derek, we know exactly what happened last year, and I'm just going to throw it up, lob it out there to you. How much different are these two teams compared to what we saw last year on the State Farm Center floor?
They're pretty different. Obviously, Illinois at the defensive end, you look at that game, they got embarrassed against Indiana, giving up 92 points to a Hoosiers team that really wasn't that great offensively. A freshman point guard came in here, and Robert Fennessy, and had his way at a career game with 17 points and 5 assists. He was comfortable throughout the game. So Illinois now going from the high-pressure defense now to more of a pack line, been really, really solid. Again, they're first in the Big Ten in league play in points per game for scoring defense, only 63. So both teams this year have times where they struggle to score, so it could be a little bit of a grinded-out game. Indiana just scored 49 points on the road at Purdue. But really the biggest difference for Illinois is the presence inside with Kofi, and then obviously the defense as a whole has allowed them to be more successful.
And maybe just the pressure as well that they're maybe faced last year. They were a team not even on the bubble of making the NCAA tournament, and now they're nearing 12 Big Ten wins, which kind of might be the magic number for them. So just kind of a testament to of how Brad Underwood has been able to kind of turn this program around, and just how some of the players have just contributed to make this team where it is today. I mean, we're looking at we're a year off from where they were last year against Indiana.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And those players last year, you think about Io as a freshman, Trent was only a sophomore, Georgie a freshman. So you got a lot of young guys that you were relying on, and now you come back. And sometimes we forget you're relying on young guys again. I was a sophomore, Allen is a sophomore, Kofi's a freshman. So for them to have this turnaround in Brad's third year and just to do it defensively, because I think that was something in the offseason that nobody really expected. We knew this team had scoring upside, but for them to be able to produce at this kind of level, get back to the tournament, maybe even do some more, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it's kind of the old cliche, offense wins games, defense wins championships, and the team has talked about it all season that this is their identity, that they want to be known for having that, tenacious defense, and I think they've definitely kind of proved themselves as doing that.
They definitely have, and that's what wins in the Big Ten. You look throughout the years it's a physical league. You have a lot of really good, talented offensive players. If you don't get stops, you're not going to win enough games to get to the NCAA tournament and go deeper than that. So it's really allowed them to be consistent. You're in games late, and maybe they don't blow teams out because they haven't maybe clicked to a level that they want to offensively, but the defense allows you to be consistent, give the ball to Io late, allow him to win the game.
Absolutely. All right, we'll have plenty more coming up soon, Craig. Got a lot more to talk about this Illini team.
Yeah, time for a commercial. We'll talk Kofi and Io when we come back. Welcome back to the Your Illini Nation pregame show. We're going to talk about Kofi Cockburn now. Man, he was so good to start this season. He was a double-double machine for the Illini. Then there was a stretch of 4 games where Kofi only reached double figures once in those 4 games. That game was a double-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds as well. Since then, 5 straight games in double figures, scoring and 3 double-doubles. So he's definitely turning it around.
Just getting back focused, listening to what my coach is telling me, basically coming out there working hard, sticking to my script, working hard, playing hard in practice, and just doing what I do best, going slow, taking everything step by step.
I always warned him, don't get too high, don't get too low, just stay consistent, stay with your technique, and just, mentor him through that, because I know that as a freshman, I know what I went through and how I got over that hump, so I just wanted to help him from the start.
Always good when you have a guy like Ayo Dosunmu in your corner to help you out through that freshman slump. We'll head back out to the State Farm Center now. That's where Marlee, Wierda, and Derek Piper are standing by. Guys, what has the difference been from Kofi to in that stretch where he was struggling there, and how has he changed to get back on track?
Sorry, I wasn't able to get my earpiece keeps popping out.
No, it's all good. I know Craig was just asking about, Kofi Cockburn and his ability to kind of turn things around. He was in, double figures, scoring double doubles for the first, couple weeks of the season. Then he kind of hit not so much of a slump, but maybe more of a plateau. What was maybe the key in getting him out of that and just being able to turn it around?
It's just been really impressive what he's been able to do, and you knew with any freshman coming into the league, even Ayo last year struggled early on. Kofi's fouled out one time. It was at Michigan, and he really struggled in that game. One time as a freshman in a physical league, so that says a lot. But, yeah, there were times where he wasn't finishing quite as well around the basket, wasn't able to hold on to the ball sometimes. That's been an issue. But really, he's played with more of a patience, more of a confidence, obviously finishing pretty ferociously around the basket against Nebraska and Northwestern. But for him to make the impact he does at both ends of the court, he denies shots at the rim, big-time rebounding impact, and then obviously can score with dunks and a right-hand hook as well.
Yeah, and I think that learning curve is a little bit normal when it comes to freshmen, and it's better that it came a couple weeks ago than, now when it's crunch time. But as Ayo and Kofi said, Ayo was, he talked to Kofi, he said, don't get too high, don't get too low, and Ayo's a guy that's been there before. He maybe overcoming some of that adversity, that you have in your freshman year kind of prepares you moving forward, and we see what kind of it did for Ayo, maybe him struggling a little bit. I mean, if he ever did struggle a little his freshman year, and then kind of to do what he's doing now this season.
Yeah, it's great to have someone to look up to like that, and someone that's been through the Big Ten, someone that he definitely respects, is both are really high-level recruits, and for Ayo to kind of push him along and say, okay, I went through some struggles, maybe my confidence at times wasn't where I needed to be, but you can get back there, big man. He said that he feels like Kofi is the best big man in the country. Obviously, that's a big vote of confidence for one of the best guards out there in college basketball.
Absolutely. Now, if we want to talk about slumps, that's kind of where Georgie Bashaniashvili comes in, and it's you can tell everyone's rooting for him. When he goes up for a shot, everybody wants him to make it so badly, and it's just he's really in a sophomore slump, but everyone's kind of confident that he can turn it around.
It's got to come sometime, right? He's too talented, and that's one thing where it'd be one thing if he was struggling as far as deficiencies in his game, but he's shown us that he can score at a really high clip inside. It's a mental thing, and now it's so painful, whether how you're watching it, just knowing how fun-loving he is, but also just how good he is. So you want to see him break through that slump, be able to get the ball and put one in, and then who knows after that, maybe he's back to the Georgia that we know. But Illinois needs him as they're going down to the stretch run in March. For them to reach the peaks they want to get to, they need Georgia to play well.
Yeah, and Brad Underwood had talked about how he was just working so hard in the gym day in and day out, so hopefully that pays off for him. But talk about a bounce back. Ayo Dosunmu, after getting injured a couple weeks ago, he's back, and he has just been playing lights out.
Yeah, maybe the most important thing for me from Ayo is that mid-range game. I think he's one of the best in the country. He's shooting 54.4% from inside the arc. That's up from about 45% last year, and Brad Underwood talked about that mid-range game yesterday.
He's got great size. He's got the ability to stop on a dime. He's put in a ton of time working on it, and that's become his long floater. Is instead of that, it's just a pull-up jump shot, and you know, he's been great with it, and was great with it at Northwestern the other night, and continues to you know, put pressure on the defense with his pull-ups.
I want to go to Marlee and Derek just real quick. Guys, in about 25 seconds, what's the most impressive thing with Io in that mid-range game?
Yeah, I think that, you know, maybe last year he was a three-point guy, and then now he's kind of transitioned and be able to work that mid-range shot a little bit, which just shows a lot of versatility on his end.
Yeah, he told him he had a weakness, and he went in the gym and worked on it relentlessly. Coming out of high school, it was his three-point shot that he really addressed and was able to hit threes last year. And this year, now getting to the mid-range, where now he's one of the most productive players in that area of the floor. And it's really hard to guard because you know he can go to the rim, but when he can stop on a dime and pop that in there, it's tough.
All right, Craig, we'll send it back to you.
We got one more commercial break to take. We'll be right back after this. The newest chapter of the Illinois-Indiana rivalry will be written here in about 35 minutes. So let's hear what Brad Underwood thinks about the current status of the rivalry.
There's always going to be tremendous history. There's always going to be a moment or two. There's going to be great coaches that have been at both places. You know, both have been to Final Fours. Both have extremely passionate fan bases. You know, so that makes it fun. And I think I think this is, you know, as Archie and I keep, you know, growing and evolving, I think it's going to continue to be one of the best rivalries in college basketball.
All right, back out to Marlee and Derek quickly. Where do you guys think the rivalry stands right now? Illinois has been lacking in the rivalry right now, hasn't been to the tournament in a while. What do you think about the two programs right now?
Yeah, well, I think rivalry or not, this is a game Indiana's kind of due for a win, and Illinois is jumping back on a hot streak. So regardless if it is a rivalry or not, I think we should expect a good one.
It's a rivalry from the fan base. As soon as the schedule comes out, you're circling on the schedule. And you know the history with Bob Knight, Lou Henson, even Eric Gordon back in the day as well as a recruit that flipped sides. So overall, I don't think there's a lot of hatred from the players aspect, but they know that the game means a lot to the fans.
Yeah, so Craig, maybe we can see a little bit of resurgence here in this Illinois-Indiana rivalry.
Yeah, for the most part, no matter what happens, you can throw the records out. The old cliche that we hear all too often. Throw the records out when these two teams meet. Should be another good one today. All right, we have one more commercial break. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back. Close up shot with me, Derek, and Marlee coming up after this. It is March Madness. We can officially say it because March 1st, Illinois in action in March. Meaningful games for the first time in a while. There was that one season where they went to the NIT, had NCAA hopes, but the fans are excited, and there's a different feel when it comes to March.
It gets to, when you get to March, it's, you know, in a lot of cases it's lose and go home. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, let it all out and let's go have fun and try to keep it light in terms of that and having fun and understand the importance of each day of trying to get better.
In terms of playing in there one day, it's really fun to watch, and I could only imagine what it's going to be like actually being there and playing with my guys and competing.
All right, back out to Marlee and Derek one last time. We have less than 2 minutes left in the show, so I'm just going to ask you guys for your final thoughts and your predictions really quick.
Now, it's funny how Brad Underwood mentioned that he wants to have fun, and I don't think that's something that you hear too often from a coach, but this time of year it is fun for the Illini just because they aren't so much a bubble NCAA tournament team, and I think they can feel pretty confident moving forward.
Yeah, I'm sure he's taking pressure off his guys because they haven't been there before. He's been in the NCAA tournament, but this is what you play for. Meaningful basketball, as Craig's been saying, but to hear your name called on Selection Sunday, it's when you define your season, and it's really exciting for Illini fans, for the program to be back in the conversation the first time in 6 years. Yeah,
well, we're not to the postseason yet. One more ahead. I think Illinois are 5-point favorites to win this game. Do they cover? What's your prediction?
I have it right near that number, 64-58. Low-scoring game, defensive battle. Illinois gets it done at home.
All right, Craig, that'll do it for us here at the State Farm Center, and we'll send it back to you.
Marlee, no prediction for you?
I don't like to give predictions. I'm usually wrong, and I don't like to jinx stuff. So I'm gonna go neutral on this one.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Thanks, guys. Good stuff from you guys. Now go get set up. They'll have all your coverage, Marlee on WCIA, Derek on Illini Inquirer tonight from the game. All right, so here's how it sets up. Let's throw that scoreboard up if we've got it. Illinois comes in 19-9 on the season. Indiana is 18-10. Illinois 11-6 in the Big Ten. Indiana 8-9 in the conference. They're needing to win a little bit more than the Illini. The Illini are pretty comfortable. Indiana needs a couple more W's for them to secure their place in the Big Ten tournament, or in the NCAA tournament. It is a 1 o'clock tip-off from the State Farm Center. You can watch it on the Big Ten Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll have all your coverage tonight. Have a good day.